All righty, what a great win for our football team, for our program. Our fan base was amazing. It was an electric atmosphere. You could feel the energy when we pulled up to Gamecock Walk, and everybody's lined up ready to roll, and we appreciate that. We're a different team at home in my short time here. As far as how our guys approach and play, and I don't think that's a good thing. We need to be the same all the time. But there's certainly, our fan base has a tremendous effect on us and how we go about our business, and I'm just really proud of them. I'm proud of our players. I told them after the end of the game, just continue to invest, continue to have some belief, continue to have confidence in what we're doing, and some good things are going to happen. When they're going to happen, I can't sit there and tell you that. Life's difficult, life's not fair. But if you'll just continue to do the things we're asking you to do, we know what good looks like. And we're going to get there, and they continue to do that, and our guys played their guts out tonight. We made some silly mistakes as far as some celebration and things. Those issues, they'll be dealt with. I'm disappointed in that, but, it's like I said on the headsets, one of the coaches was complaining. I said, hell, we ain't never been in this position. But we plan on it being in here a lot, and we got to enjoy tonight and put this one behind us and play another great home game against Missouri at 4 o'clock on SEC Network. So we're very pleased with our guys' effort and our buy-in. You get 3 and 4, and you're getting beat up left and right and all that good stuff, or 2 and 4, whatever it was. And for our guys to continue to fight says a lot about the players we have on this team, but it also says a lot about our staff. Our staff is stuck together. We have a very good coaching staff here. These guys do a fantastic job, and I'm glad to be a part of it, and I'll open it up for any questions.
Please raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you. David, the first one, and Josh.
Will, a couple of questions. Was Rico shaken up in the third and fourth? That's why I was on the sideline?
He landed on the ball on our sideline. He's going to be fine. The only injury from the game was possibly Kiera Thomas got popped pretty good in the ribs, but we think he's going to be fine as well. Other than that, I think we're good.
On that last drive, just how difficult was it to try to decide run or pass when they had been, getting to Bentley pretty well and the run was getting stuffed?
Well, we had not protected. They did a nice job with some of their pressure packages. They had not checked before. We checked at the line. They checked. And we slid the protection a couple times. We got in a couple run checks we didn't want to get into. We just had some things we were still working through. That's where we are right now. But we ran the ball for the most part pretty well through the night. I thought Jake was accurate with some tight man-to-man throws he made in the game, which was exciting. Debo played fantastic. Really is an electric guy. Brian made some nice plays on the ball. We got to get Hayden more involved. I don't know how many. I only had one catch. There was a critical third down conversion, but you're continuing to get him more involved. I thought we had a good plan. I thought we spread the field pretty well. We hit the double move to KC, which was a nice call. The RPO to Brian, they loaded the box on the slant for the touchdown. It was a really nice call. Debo went and got a couple 50-50 balls for us. We need to protect a little better in some situations, and it's not all on the offensive line. There were some issues as far as we should have gotten the ball out, in my opinion, a couple times. A tight end missed a protection one time, a back missed a protection the other time. So we just got to get those things cleaned up. And you're in that conversation. They have one timeout left to burn, and you're looking in terms of if we get a first down, the game's over. But it was, we're sitting there. I wanted to make them burn the last timeout, so they didn't have another timeout. I felt like, them being able to drive the length of the field was going to be because of his legs, not his arm. So I felt like we needed to make them burn the timeout and make them be conscious about throwing the ball to the sideline, which they did in several situations there at the end.
Josh.
Do you find yourself thinking of Bentley and Dowdle and Bryan as freshmen, or have they shown enough poise in these, maybe just tonight, that you think that they feel like they're a little older or more mature?
We put them on the field. We expect them to play at a high level. And in order to win in our league, you have to. So only on Sunday, as we're having dinner, do we say, you know what, these guys are just freshmen. But on game day and our preparation and our meetings, that's not an excuse around here. That's just, it is what it is. It's the situation we're in. But I'm glad I've got the guys we got.
Do y'all break up into class on Sunday night? Is that why or is that you're just saying Sunday night?
No, I was talking about as a staff.
Sitting around shooting breeze.
Yeah.
Coach, 4th and 3 there, you decide to punt, but you obviously at least looked at the possibility. It seemed like were you looking for a look, or was it always a plan to punt there?
No, we were looking for a look in the situation, and they had been running an inside battery, a Mike Will twist that we missed the cut as the back. I mean, we got to get behind that. There was some space in there. We missed the cut on the first 2 plays. We were looking for that again on 4th down, and they didn't give us that look.
Coach, Chris gets thrown out in the first
Yeah.
quarter. How did that change what you did in the secondary and even in your punt return?
Well, I said a quick prayer to myself. I hope we don't lose another corner because we ain't got another one. Chris made a mistake. He lost his temper, and you got to keep your cool in those situations. Rashad Fenton, came in and did a nice job against some bigger receivers. Jamarcus King continues to play well, made a really nice break on the ball and the interception there late. Debo's caught the ball well. We started the season with Debo. We had a lot of confidence from camp with Debo, and we just got to put the guy back there. You got to let him make catches and fair catch the ball when you're supposed to fair catch it, square the ball up, get your hands above your eyes, and do the fundamental things that you're supposed to do to be a good punt returner, which he is. So is Chris Lamons, and so are some other guys we put back there that we have confidence in. But, that was something that, obviously when I knew that happened, that was an issue we discussed on the headsets.
Dr. Zoom.
Can you talk specifically about the poise of Jake Bentley? Just a second start, going up against a defense full of probably future NFL guys, and the way that he handled himself all throughout the night.
I thought he did a nice job. I mean, again, I don't know what his numbers were exactly, but he was accurate with the ball. He threw the ball in some tight coverage. We had some guys make some plays too, so you got to give those guys credit. But there's no question in that environment, it says a lot about him as a young man, his preparation, and what he puts into it.
Will, you've been talking all season about winning now and not accepting excuses. Just how good for the guys does it feel to get a win like this and to be able to present them, see this is what happens?
David, you got to have some results eventually. You can't keep telling a guy, boy, just keep working. We're going to go out there and we're going to meet. We're going to start at 7 in the morning, and on Tuesday and Wednesday we're going to meet for an hour and a half to close to 2 hours. We're going to be on the practice field for 2 hours again, and you got me yelling at you the entire time. That's not a lot of fun at the end of the day. So you got to have some results to feel the gratification of going out there and having the results. That why are we working so hard? We're doing it because we want this feeling, and this feels good. And it feels good for my teammates, and it feels good for my program and my school. And that locker room was a lot different locker room than we've had all year.
Will, I believe that's a fourth straight game where you start the same 5 offensive linemen. Talk about the continuity there and how that helped, and maybe how you had one of your better rushing games tonight.
Well, again, I think that they put us in some one-on-ones as far as outside because they loaded the box and we were still able to run it. So that's a compliment to those guys and the job they did. I thought that Rico made some tough runs. I mean, he made the one bounce-out run on our sideline that's a big-time SEC back making that run. And the AJ got in there late. David did some nice things. So, it all works hand in hand. We ask our tight ends to block a lot in the run game as well. So it all works hand in hand. We ask the quarterback to make the correct reads in the zone read and some of the read games that we've got. But it all works hand in hand. So proud of all those guys.
You held Tennessee to 136 yards rushing. Do you feel that was the best y'all have done against the run this year?
I do, against a really good rushing football team. Jalen Hurd and the young guy they got, Kelly's a really good explosive back. We got bounced out. As a 3 technique got bounced out here coming off the goal line, which is extremely disappointing. That was a 34-yard run. We lost contain on, really, you look at it, 31 of those yards is a scramble that Jobs had. That has nothing to do with your run defense. That's a pass play as far as the way I look at it. So, we just got to keep him hemmed up. We wanted to make him throw it, and we got bounced out of our gaps. And he's a gamer and a tough young man and a great football player. So he made a play on that play. But yeah, we've improved. We're nowhere near where we need to be. That's the bottom line. I mean, just call it like it is.
Yeah,
When Jamarcus Hall's in that pretty tough second pick, is that just a reminder of kind of the ceiling he has as a player?
Well, DeMarcus is, instinctive. He's got length. He has all the physical attributes we like, and he's been a very coachable guy since he's been here. Just a guy that goes out and works. He listens. He's very correctable. When you correct him, he doesn't take it personal. He tries to learn and listen, and T-Rob does a really good job with those guys. He does a great job teaching fundamental technique, eye control, all the things that you need to teach. Jamarcus is going to benefit moving forward, getting in the weight room. He needs some girth on him. He needs to be able to, against some of the bigger receivers, get his hands on people and disrupt timing. And that's something that we got to continue to work on to be a more heavy-handed player on the line of scrimmage, and he will.
Let's go over here to the right. Yeah.
Will there be any more discipline with Chris beyond what the league does, I guess, on your end?
That's up to our commissioner and our league. To my knowledge, any ejection just has to do, if you're ejected in the first half, you miss the rest of the game, and you're allowed to come back to the next game. But that's up to Commissioner Sankey.
Kidman.
Will, you mentioned earlier in the week how these games have been close the past 4 years and how you mentioned that to your team. Did you sense that you guys were close to breaking through and that you might be on the cusp of doing that?
Well, again, I've been around weeks of practice where we practiced really, really good, and we stunk on game day. And I've been around weeks that we didn't practice really good, and I'm sitting there going into game thinking, man, I hope this thing turns around and we go play an outstanding game. So we had a really good week, probably our best week of preparation. And I told the guys early in the week, this game's going to come down to the fourth quarter. I felt that way all along. And I told them we're going to have to finish. I said the word for the week is finish. We got to go finish the game. We're going to be in an opportunity. We've got to finish. We didn't finish Georgia. We didn't finish Texas A&M. I mean, we had opportunities in those games. You've got to learn to finish when you have an opponent. We didn't finish against UMass. At the end of the day, for defensively, we stunk. So you got to learn to finish in these games, and you got to learn to make plays in these games and get some of the bull yards and knock a guy back and get the ball off somebody and create a break or two. We've got a 17-7 game, and we let them out of the sack with a kickoff return. Those are things that we need to correct moving forward. As a coach, that's just the way I look at it. So, but no, our guys, the effort and the enthusiasm and the mental urgency and energy they had was outstanding all week, and I think you saw a product of that on game day.
From last week's defensive performance against UMass to this week, what were the areas on defense where you kind of said we sort of took the biggest steps there?
To me, it all goes back to mental intensity and focus. Because they didn't overpower us physically in any form, stretch of the imagination. It was all just having your eyes in the right spots, playing the block, keeping your head in your gap, tackling well, bringing your feet on tackles. That all goes back. It has nothing to do with ability. It has to do with mental intensity. And we didn't have that last week. And we're not good enough if we don't have it. We got to have it all the time. We're not going to roll that hat out there and win if we don't have mental intensity. We're just not. That's just the way it is right now. So our guys go play with mental intensity. We can play with anybody if we'll go do that. And sometimes we do and sometimes we don't.
In DJ's ejection, I don't know if you need to see it again on film, but did you get a sense of if you thought it was the
They're
right
going to
call?
err on safety on that. In those bang situations, they're going to err on safety, and that's what we've been told, and that's what they should do. It's a player safety issue, and that's where if the head's involved in it and he's defenseless, which he was in that situation, the flag is going to be thrown, and they're probably going to uphold the call. So again, it's all about player safety, and whether I agree with it or not really doesn't matter. So but having played the position, it's hard. But a lot of guys making the rules have never played. So that's part of our issue.
Well, for such a young offense to not commit any turnovers and then get 14 points off of turnovers in those short field situations, how big is that for a young group?
That's the biggest thing we've done this year, other than the Georgia game, is take care of the football. And we haven't had a lot of turnovers. We haven't put the ball in jeopardy much, as far as our carriers are concerned. So that's been very pleasing. And we're not explosive enough. We're going to get there right now to turn the ball over and overcome a lot of self-inflicted issues like that. So those are things that we're not, as a team as well. We got to be able to manage the game and grind it out, and that's who we are. But we're doing it pretty well right now, tonight.
Anything else for Coach?
All right, thank you.
Thank you.